Hello and welcome back to another episode of In Mint Condition. I'm your host, Justin. Joining me is my co-host and brother, Mo.
What up, what up?
All right, we're glad to be back. Glad to be talking about superheroes again. We'll probably get back to Star Wars soon. But for right now, we're going to be back in the superhero game talking about Loki. And this week we'll be covering a Thor comic. And so we'll probably be here for... We'll be in this lane for a minute. Black Widow will be coming out sometime next month, but we might switch between Loki and Bad Batch. Might sometimes do both of them, but we'll see what happens. As we go along. As of this recording, we have not seen the latest episode of Bad Batch. I believe that's episode 7, but we are caught. We did see Loki, so that's what we're going to be focusing on today. Spoilers for Loki, spoilers for anything Thor related at all. Let's go ahead and jump into this. Alright, our comic for today is Journey into Mystery, number 83. Let me get the year on that. If they have it. August 1962.
Ooh, I was close. Couple years off.
You stupid. He said 1974. Ooh, I was close. This was written by Stan Lee with assistance from his brother Larry Lieber, and it was penciled by Jack Kirby, the great King Kirby, inked by Joe Sinnott, and Art Simek was the letterer. I don't usually have access to all that information because I don't usually look it up, but it's sitting right here in front of me, so I included it this time. Transparency is the key.
I didn't know you were going to say that. I thought you were going to be like, the information's not readily available.
No, it's absolutely available.
I was going to be like, because he's lazy.
It is readily available. I'm not gonna hold you. I just don't look it up. And I should. But so like I said, Journey into Mystery, number 83 came out August 1962. So this is early in Marvel's history, I guess, because back in the real old days, 40s, they were Timely Comics, but at this point in time, they had officially shifted into Marvel, and with the Fantastic Four, they became Marvel, and this was the expansion of that universe under that title. And this issue details the origin of Thor. He is Dr. Donald Blake, just a guy. He's just a doctor. He walks with a limp. He has a cane, and he's nothing special. And he's traveling in Europe, and he encounters this guy who has apparently seen aliens land, and he says, "Oh, this guy doesn't seem like he's seeing things. I'm gonna go figure out if I can find this spaceship that supposedly landed."
White
so
folk.
What?
I said white folk. If my brother heard that, cool. So where's that again?
Where's that?
I'm going the other way. I'm staying over here.
I'm going down to Africa, and I catch a flight over to America from there. I ain't messing with y'all no more.
Let me go investigate these aliens. You what?
You doing what? Donald. Donald, come back. Donald. Wait, Donald, stop playing, man.
Donald, come back. Donald, come back to that door right now.
This man,
say psych right
why
now.
Y'all not stopping him? He has a cane.
Am I going to go with him at least? You ain't going to let him wobble out there by himself?
Why don't you go? Whoa. Hey, now. Calm down. There's no need to get silly here. But so he's out. He ends up finding the aliens, and they see him, and he's like, I got to get up out of here. He trips and he falls, and he makes his way into a cave. He loses his walking stick, so he's crawling around, and he ends up finding a stick in this chamber, and he picks it up, and he's smacking it against a rock because he can't get it to move, so he just gets angry, and he just and he taps it so many times, it causes him to turn into Thor, and that's where we see the message inscribed on the hammer for all the way back in his first issue. Whosoever holds this hammer, and
Shall
all that
possess the power of
jazz.
Thor.
What?
I said, shall possess the power of Thor. You
If he be
forgot it.
worthy, shall.
You're not worthy.
Hey, yeah.
Justin would never be able to lift
And
the
so
hammer.
this gives Thor his power, and he ends up going out and he puts the hammer down, and he's just sitting resting, and he reverts back to Donald Blake, and that's when he realizes, oh, if I let go of the hammer, I'll turn back to Donald Blake, and I'll lose the. So I have to keep holding the hammer within a 60-second time period, and that'll make sure I keep my power. And we just see him testing out his power, and Jack Kirby's art is fantastic in depicting the power that Thor possessed, because Thor was created specific, if I'm remembering correctly, he was created specifically in response to the Hulk. They needed somebody that could compete with the Hulk, and so they were like, well, if we've already made the strongest mortal, the only thing that can be stronger is a god. So that's why they ended up telling their version of Thor and adapting him as a superhero. And so Thor ends up going to confront the aliens. It's a very one-sided fight. They didn't stand a chance. they didn't. There was nothing they could do, so they all retreat. Now these aliens are the Krona. So this is their first introduction. The Krona is Korg's species, and this story is retold in the Planet Hulk comic book.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you have not read that, go check it out. We may talk about that on the show at some point. But so the Krona are introduced all the way back in this issue. That's why Korg gets bought in when they do that semi-Planet Hulk story in Thor Ragnarok. They're his first villains, and Korg was actually one of these Krona that fought Thor in this issue. They retcon that. Thor smashes or taps his hammer on the ground again, turns back to Donald Blake, and just goes walking around again.
The bum.
And so that's where the issue ends, and they promise if he's popular enough, Thor is gonna come back, and of course he was a hit, and he made his return. Next week we might do the first issue of Loki. Now that might have made more sense for this episode. And to that I say, it's our podcast. We do what we want.
He picks the comics.
Hold on now. You picked the comic 2 weeks ago.
Y'all can blame this week on him.
Listen, this is a good comic book. What did you think about it?
I thought it was nice. I think a lot of the old, like, cheesy comics, I'm not, like, the biggest fan of. We gotta figure out how to make that noise. Just because I'm like used to like how everything is now, like going back and reading this older stuff, I'm like, this is weird. But it was a nice story. I did enjoy it. It was nice to see how Thor started. I remember when Dad first told us about like how Thor had to like hold his hammer. If he let go of it for too long, he would turn back. And I was like, I remember when I was younger, I was like, that's cool. And then like as I started to get older, I was like, that's dumb.
Well, and so
But
oh.
I'll finish what I'm saying. It is an interesting concept, and since they were like bringing him into the superhero realm, I thought it was interesting. It was a nice introduction to the character.
Yeah, because the Norse mythology, like Greek mythology,
Mm-hmm.
they were kids' stories that they told. I'm not sure exactly what point in time they started telling mythology as kids' stories, as bedtime stories. They were basically fairy tales, though, that they would tell the kids. So Stan and Jack probably had heard the stories of Thor when they were kids, and I believe that was the source of their information for the character when they were creating him. And yeah, it's interesting to see how they adapted his Norse mythology, especially when you read more of them.
Yeah.
I haven't read their full run, or even just Stan's full run of Thor comics, but what I have read they adapt the mythology so brilliantly, and even later on when you get to Walt Simonson and in that era in the 70s, they take it a step further and just start adapting more of the crazy stuff and introducing new elements. But
Hmm.
this first issue was it's fantastic. When I first read it, I was like, this is insane. That's Korg. And I really enjoyed seeing Jack Style. For me, I really like the Silver Age. I don't know if it's my favorite because the writing it doesn't really hold up all the time, but there's something about the feeling and the style from that era. I really love the Silver Age, DC and Marvel. I think it's you can't really throw those stories away. Not all of them are good, not all of them are keepers, but the stuff that sticks, it sticks. The Fantastic Four, I've read almost all of Stan and Jack's original Fantastic Four run.
Yeah.
I've read, oh man, the Spider-Man stuff. I've read almost all of Stan Lee's run on that. From Ditko to when he switched to Ramita, and I just love that era. And so these Thor comics really. They're some of the best. They're some of my favorite comics from the Silver Age, and in this issue, like I said, it's so lively. The way Jack Kirby drew it, you can see the action playing out.
Yeah.
And I think that this issue does a little bit better with having the characters not always explain what's going on. It's not perfect, but you haven't read as much as I have. I'm telling you, it's a little bit better than some of the other
Oh,
ones. They
yeah.
still, this is still pretty early on. Comics have hit their stride, but they haven't evolved to really resemble what we have today yet.
And I mean, to go along with that, I think that's one of the things that like I don't like about the older comics because these are like when they're first coming out, so they're like explaining what
Well,
this
this is
character can
about 20
do.
years on.
Yeah, and then but like for me, and or for us, like now we have so many of these stories of these characters. We know what they do,
Mm-hmm.
we know what they can do, what they're capable of. So like going back to reading like when they first came out and everything, like I throw my hammer and then it comes back to me. It's like we know that you don't have to say that, but it's like there. This is him first coming out, so they have to explain it, and so that's one of the things that like it doesn't irk me, but it's like going back. I'm just like that's irritating, but it makes sense
With Silver Age
looking back.
comics, if you're not there for all of that stuff, then tap out. But because they do a lot of that because they're explaining it to kids too.
Hmm.
At this point in the industry, they had shifted. They're like, okay, kids are really the main market here, so we have to make sure they understand what's going on. So it's not just the character discovering what he can do. They have to explain to the kids, and I think they underestimated kids' intelligence going in there, but their intentions were pure, and they were like, all right, let's try to make sure that the kids can enjoy this and know about the character. A lot of times, and I kind of a lot of people prefer just tell me up front what can this person do, what is his
Yeah.
backstory, and we don't get a lot of Don's backstory, but it we know everything Thor can do, and that's the important part. Nobody's reading Thor for Donald Blake.
Donald Blake is a heart surgeon.
Boo! Boo! But
And all the things I could tell you about Zuckers.
oh my god. Um, but so when you have these older comics that get into their dialogue heavy or exposition heavy, or you
Uh-huh.
see the text box, it's for the kids to make sure they know everything that's going on, and also because a lot of these books were anthologies, so a story might not have the 30 or so pages that we get today. They might have only had 9 pages or 10 pages, 15 maybe. So they're having to be like, okay, look, we can't show a huge splash page with what's going on in this panel, and we can't even really just have anything be blank. We have to make sure we're utilizing all of it. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even in this issue though, you get a couple of panels that have no dialogue because of the way that the action is drawn. And man, I'm telling you guys, Jack Kirby is one of the greatest artists to ever do it, if not the greatest. I highly recommend that. Even if you don't read the issue, go back and look at the way he drew
Look at the pictures.
Thor in this issue. You can Google the images online. They're on Google for free if you don't want to try to track the book down. If you do want to track it down, it's in the Marvel Masterworks. It's been collected in the Epic Collection, and I'm sure they have it in a trade. In some other form, they have omnibuses with it collected in. They have there's a lot of different ways you can get your hands on this issue. And again, always, if you are able to, please support your local comic shop. I know that's not always feasible, but when it is, please make sure you support them because they are struggling right now. I also want to mention that Donald Blake ended up getting retconned because he's not a part of Thor at all anymore.
Yeah.
It was retconned that Odin had put Thor on Earth and gave him the mortal form of Donald Blake. And so he was always Thor, but Odin had put that spell on him and made him believe he was Donald Blake. But then they ended up retconning that and be like, no, you were always Thor, but you know. And I forget exactly why Odin did it. Probably because he childish.
He was bored, bro. He was
Odin was like, bro, leave me alone. Go, please. But father, that's it.
Donald. So Odin sent Donald to Midgard. Who's Donald?
Who's Donald? Take him
away.
What about his hammer? If he finds it, he can have it back. Odin got word of that. He said, God.
He found it? We buried it.
We put it in a cave with a box of scraps.
Oh.
But yeah, no. I really recommend people read the Silver Age stuff. It's good. It's not all of it, though. Some of it is very bad.
Yeah.
And there's racism and sexism too. So I don't fault anybody that doesn't like the Silver
That's why
Age
he
stuff.
likes it so much.
That is not why I like it.
Let's count how many times they say the N-word. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whoa, wow. 18 on one page.
Comics Code wouldn't have allowed that, so.
It's like the first letter of every word they say.
But yeah, you got anything else to say about the Mighty Thor?
No. It was an interesting read. I highly recommend it if you want to see where he started. And then keep going after. Read his whole story.
Yeah, I mean, you really can't go too wrong with Stan and Jack. There's a couple, very few of their works don't hold up anymore, in my opinion. But yeah, that era of comics, they were redefining what comics were. They were redefining what stories were being told, how they were being told, and it's just an interesting look. If you're interested in checking them out, you can start seeing some of the ways comics were being molded to the modern day. Because back then they had to shake things up. Especially after the 50s with the Comics Code cracking down, they had to redefine the medium, and Marvel was really doing a better job of it than DC was at that era. But you know, everybody has their preference. Go check it out and see what you like.
Yeah.
Moving on to Loki.
To Thor.
Shut up.
We're going to be discussing the MCU movie now.
Moving on to Loki. Loki is the newest Disney Plus live action limited series. Maybe we'll get a season 2 of this. But it seems like these Disney shows are trending to be more limited series. You can't really do anything with WandaVision again, and
They could do Captain America.
you
And
could
Winter
do Captain
Soldier.
America, but they're giving them a movie, so.
Give them a show too. Bump it. Go all the way.
But I think the way they're positioning Sam to be Captain America, I think he's going to be the leader of the Avengers now. So you're not going to relegate his story to a TV show that some people might not watch. These shows are amazing. They're high quality, some of the best MCU content. But if general audiences aren't tuning in, then they're not going to put the major storylines in a show. So the way they're positioning Sam as being Cap and probably leading the Avengers now, it's gonna be his story's gonna be told in movies. I don't think we're gonna get a season 2. Maybe to deal with some of the smaller family stuff again,
That would be
but
nice.
I can't see us. I can't see like another full series of
You're like, Sam marries his sister. He's
Bucky.
like, or Bucky, yeah. Bucky marries his sister. It's just like,
You'd be sick.
ah! The whole show is him coming to terms with that. It's not even a vibe. It's just like a
He's
like a
in
buddy cop
therapy
movie.
the whole time.
Oh,
But so now this one first episode, it feels like they could make this multiple seasons.
yeah, probably.
Uh,
I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't super excited for this show
Why?
because, like, Loki has been overhyped in the MCU.
It's not overhyped, but
Yes, it is.
well,
and
explain your point of view.
It's just he's been
Explain yourself.
overhyped, and I think that, like, people are making like Loki to be a bigger character than he probably is. I could be wrong. I mean, the first episode was funny. There were some parts of it where I was just like, this is too much. Cause like and one of my biggest problems with the MCU is like they don't take a lot of things seriously. It's been that way since I want to say like after Iron Man 3. Like the movies just like, I mean, they have their serious moments, and like I'm not saying that they don't, but like sometimes they just like they shoehorn humor in there where it probably shouldn't be. And that's one of my biggest problems with the MCU, and so that's what like I pretty much like figured like this is just gonna be like a funny show. And it was funny, it was enjoyable. I just wasn't super excited for it coming out. But you know, we'll see where it goes. I enjoyed the first episode.
Yeah, that's Loki is a standout character for a lot of people. He's a character that a lot of people bond with, and I get what you're saying.
I mean, yeah, I think he's a good character too, and his story arc is an interesting one. I just like when the show was announced, I was like, "What for?"
Well, and that this first episode definitely lets us know what for.
Yeah, that's they did really good with this first episode because when we like because you were like making a big deal about watching it, and like it was like I had work the next day, so I was like I'm probably gonna be up later than I want to be. I was like I'm not excited for the show in the first place, so I kind of like had an attitude. And I was like the show's like I'm not. It's just gonna be another show. And we watched it, and I was like, okay, this is an interesting, story. Let's see where it goes. So it like the first episode did a really good job of drawing me in. So if anybody else had the same issue as me, I would say just watch it. If your mind doesn't change, that's fine. But for me personally, I am interested to see where they're going to take us with this show.
This was definitely the strongest first episode out of all of them.
Definitely.
And the other two were strong. Like I said, I really liked the WandaVision one. And maybe looking back with some perspective after this series is over, maybe I'll say, WandaVision's premiere was better. That Loki was just new at the time, but
Yeah.
because I really did love WandaVision, especially. Well, I've talked about it enough,
We'll
but
get into that later.
This was a really strong episode, and
Yeah.
as of right now, I feel like it was the strongest opening. We get a little bit of that sequence from Endgame where Loki disappears with the Tesseract, and he immediately is
Immediately, bro.
immediately gets hemmed up by the Time Variance
TVA.
Authority, TVA, and they grab him up, cleanse the timeline from anything he might have done to change it, and that's where we get the revelation of who they are.
Hmm.
They're a group of people who were created by the Timekeepers, which are they're three beings that were around during a multiverse war, and they've created the perfect timeline, and they created the TVA to protect that timeline and to keep it from falling apart, and falling into another multiverse war. That's going to be an interesting plot point to resolve. um, One of the things I don't think it is bad. I don't think because a lot of people have a lot of problems with it. I don't have any problems with it yet. It's episode 1. We don't know uh, if anything that was said in this episode is even true, or if that's a lie that the upper management of the TVA has perpetrated or perpetuated rather. And so we don't know. We don't know. And one of the things that I noticed was in Infinity War, Doctor Strange says that he's able to see millions of realities. So if there's only one timeline, how do those realities exist? Are there more realities outside of this perfect timeline that are somehow kept from interacting with the main universe? How are there so many or how did he see so many realities, and
Yeah.
there's only really one timeline that's being enforced?
Yeah, that could actually, if what they're leading with is facts, then that is a possible plot hole that they just created.
Right. And I'm not, like I said, this is episode 1. We don't know what's going to happen,
Yeah.
but it could go either way. Either they thought it through or they
And
missed it.
they just just went with it.
Kevin, I think I messed up.
Bro, I was watching the episode like, oh my god.
What did Doctor Strange say in Infinity War? Multiple. Ah, God.
They're watching the episode. I know, I'm on my way.
Call everybody.
Just gets a phone call immediately.
But no, I don't. It's gonna be interesting to see how they deal with that, if they deal with that at all. Maybe they just expect us to forget it.
We'll see. I have no idea.
Well, that's just something that stood out to me, especially with everybody uh, talking on the internet. Oh, they shouldn't have one time. Shut up, man. Let the show play. It's gonna be interesting. I think this series though could definitely lead into setting up the events for Multiverse of Madness and Spider-Man, I guess.
I really hope that they don't do a multiverse movie for Spider-Man 3.
I hope every single cast member is a Ralph Boner joke.
Please God, I really don't want a multiverse movie.
Not right now. We got to finish up Peter's story.
Especially like
I want one, just not now. Now did not seem like the time to do Spider-Verse in live action.
definitely not. That's a good point. We'll get back to that. But I just don't want Andrew Garfield to come back.
Oh my god.
Dude, I don't. People are like, "Oh, he was such a." He wasn't.
Yeah, I didn't like those
He
movies.
like the actor. He's a great actor. I'm not like hold. I used to like hold actors against like the performances. Like, bro, he sucked. I think Andrew Garfield is a great actor. I just not Peter Parker. He did not do a great Peter Parker. And I just don't want him to come back. It's Spider-Man. Toby will always hold a spot in my heart, but he'll be all right. He can stay away from this. I don't want a multiverse. I mean, but because they already confirmed Jamie Foxx is Electro, Alfred Molina is Doc Ock, so it's possible.
It's probable,
and it doesn't make sense
doing
because
it.
they have to finish, like you said, they have to finish Peter's story,
It would have been
Um,
much more in my opinion, it would have been much more interesting had they just done
Daredevil.
his trial, him trying to figure out how am I gonna beat this, and then they could have even done Sinister Six in this movie,
That would have been
Vulture and because they already
good. We
have
have Vulture,
Vulture,
Scorpion.
Scorpion, Shocker. Mysterio's not dead. Let's be real, he's not dead. He's not dead. He's not dead.
He bled out. That's all I'm saying.
He's not dead. All they would have to do is introduce. Well, I mean, Tinkerer is designing suits. He could create two lower level villains and just do that version of the Sinister Six taking out.
Because didn't they have a? I'm probably tripping. Never mind. Didn't they have like a glider in the Homecoming?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I was gonna say they could do like
No.
somebody could have stole that and been Green Goblin.
No. No Green Goblin yet.
No Green Goblin.
No, in the comics, Green Goblin was introduced when he was still in high school, but we didn't know it was Norman until he got to college.
Wouldn't do that, bro. See,
He shouldn't be in high school anymore. Why are we talking about Spider-Man?
We got on it. One more thing about this. I gotta bring up the disrespectful person that was like, if Tom Holland's in the next Into the Spider-Verse movie, it'll be way more successful than the
Yeah,
first
you
one.
going to hell.
Like, bruh. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, the whites are at it again. I'm
Y'all
like,
are
dog, let us
crazy.
have our Spider-Man, bro. He literally has his own movies. What do we need him in this one for?
Keep him up out of Spider-Verse.
Dude.
I like that Peter Parker better.
Oh, yeah. Nick Miller.
Nicky. Love that dude.
Anyways, that was off topic. Back to Loki.
Spider-Man brings up feelings and emotions. You gotta let that play out.
Gotta let it flow like water.
You just gotta feel. You can't stop it.
Can't be rigid.
Spider-Man is volatile. Man, people be on Twitter losing their minds over
Dog.
Spider-Man. I'm like, look, guys, can we just have fun? And I see something. I'm like, all right, everybody,
Alright,
stop.
you crossed the line. This was the line, and you just crossed.
Y'all
it.
paid for this. Oh, but yeah, I don't know. Somebody said Spider-Verse isn't that good. I was like, okay, so we're gonna fight.
He said, wasn't that good?
They were like, it's overrated, just like Black Panther. I was like, you just don't like black people.
They're just racist.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Honestly.
That's all it is.
Because Black Panther was phenomenal.
Black Panther is amazing.
Like, dude, and Into the Spider-Verse, like,
Into the Spider-Verse is the best Spider-Man.
let alone
movie.
everything. Like, there's so much stuff they did in that movie that was just amazing. Like, the
Best Spider-Man. movie.
standing out was, like, the art design. Like, it was, like, literally, like, straight out of a comic book.
Man, when his dad's talking to him
Dude!
in the doorway,
Oh, my God! When Uncle Aaron died, bro.
y'all out y'all mind.
When he found out Aaron was the Prowler. Dude.
Man, when he had Peter, you gotta go.
You gotta go home, man. Dude.
Don't you ever tell me that's not the greatest Spider-Man movie.
Man.
Oh, all right, back to Loki.
I didn't know they was blaspheming God like that. Like, first the disrespect about Tom Holland, but you gonna blaspheme the good Lord by talking about this movie?
Oh, man. They tripping, man. They tripping. But
All right, anyway.
moving on, Loki. One of the other big reveals this episode had is that the Infinity Stones are just
Don't
whatever
matter.
in the realm of the time of the TVA. They don't matter. They catch so many of them, and whatever power that stops magic from working, I'm guessing stops the stones from working too. And that was interesting to see.
It's like everything these last 10 years has been a waste.
Well, no, it wasn't a waste. It's just that they're not the biggest fish anymore.
Yeah.
And I was glad they did that because, for one, the stones are destroyed in the main timeline anyway,
Yeah.
and so why does it matter? And a lot of people were upset by this reveal too.
Upset.
They just
They get
complain,
mad
bro.
over
They just
everything, bro.
complain.
What were they upset? What were they upset about?
They were like, what? Well, why are they useless? We spent all these years worrying about them, and it was like, yeah, we did worry about
We
them,
did Infinity War and Endgame,
and now it's done.
now the threat is over.
We got to get ready for the next big threat, which is probably going to be Kang or Galactus.
Galactus would be nice. I would love to see Galactus live action. They kind of let me down with Dormammu, though. I'm not gonna lie. So I don't know how they would do
yeah.
Galactus.
No, I think they'll do Galactus better. Dormammu is a tough one because,
bro, it's just a flaming head. You
yeah,
don't even gotta do his body.
But I mean, maybe if they bring Dormammu into our plane, it'll get the traditional look. But since that was the dark dimension,
Okay.
I think maybe he since he is the dark dimension,
Okay, I'll
it
give
was
that
just
to you.
like this is my ultimate form.
Okay.
But they're gonna do Galactus.
Galactus
Good.
would be
Galactus is a
nice.
person.
And then we get Silver Surfer, possibly Fantastic Four. Dog, that would be
Fantastic Four is coming out soon, apparently.
lit. They're doing Fantastic Four.
You didn't hear that?
I did not.
John
hear that.
Watts is doing it.
Huh?
Is he? Is it
Is it
John
MCU?
Watts? Hold on, I might be wrong. Yeah.
Really?
You didn't hear this announcement?
I've never
It was
heard
everywhere.
this announcement. No. We get the first family. Dog, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Have they released the cast?
No, you know they haven't.
No.
You would have definitely heard it.
Yeah,
if
they released the cast, I would have heard it.
But they announced that John Watts. Yeah.
Bring Chris Evans back. Johnny Storm, let's go, baby.
Honestly, those movies aren't as bad as everybody says.
The casting was great, honestly.
And you can't ask me to not. You can't tell me to hate Rise of the Silver Surfer when they have the scene when Sue's like, "I'm so hot for you right now," and Johnny, so am I.
Dude, Chris Evans killed Johnny.
When Ben
bro.
was like, "Oh, come on, guys, it's me." Those movies are fantastic.
Dude, Johnny was playing too much when he was switching their powers around.
Dog. Oh my god. Oh yeah, I love those movies. You
Those
can
movies
never
are
ask me
great.
to hate them.
No, yeah, that's cold.
And the soundtrack.
Dude, did you rewatch them recently? Because you
Yeah.
were singing the sound. I was gonna say you were singing the soundtrack the other day. I was like, why is he singing Fantastic Four? Man, yeah, no, that's gonna be nice. Galactus, let's go.
Galactus,
Silver
Kang.
Surfer.
We're definitely getting Kang though because they cast him. Or it might have been a rumor. But I'm pretty sure
They cast Namor. I know that.
they cast Namor, but I'm pretty sure they casted Kang. Jonathan Majors, but it might have been a rumor. Yeah, so I think it's official. That Jonathan Majors going to be Kang, and he's so fantastic, great actor, and yeah, so Loki's gonna
Well, I know they said that this series is gonna be the most.
It's gonna have the most impact on the movies.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to get our hopes up again. Bro, in Loki, in one of the places they go to, there was a stained glass painting of the devil. And I was like, oh, Mephisto's back.
Mephisto is back.
But,
here
man.
they come again.
Man, those theories were hilarious. I missed that time.
They got big mad when it wasn't Mephisto.
Oh, the people were pissed.
Dog, that's funny.
But no, this episode, it was packed with stuff to pick up on.
I really enjoyed when he saw his whole life story.
Yeah.
Cause the moment in Thor: The Dark World when Frigga dies always hits me hard. I don't know why, but it's always like, dog, they killed their mama.
Thor: The Dark World isn't that bad either.
It's not, dude. The second Thor movie is probably. I have my feelings about Thor Ragnarok. I'll say it's a good movie. I have
He
my
doesn't like
opinion.
they went too goofy with it.
I don't like they went too because like
I don't like they gave Thor his eye back.
that would have been sick if he kept his
I
eye
think
gone.
eye patch Thor would have been
Eye patch
cooler.
would have been sick. I just like it's. I won't go into it. I don't like they went too silly, but it was a good movie. Thor 2 is one of my favorites.
Thor
For the
2?
Thor, like, it's not the
You said
best
ranking
movie.
it goes what?
Ranking for the Thor movies, it goes probably 3, 2, 1.
You're putting 2 over 1?
Yes,
What is wrong with
definitely.
you? You're insane.
3, most of the movie he spent just doing nothing on Earth.
What's you mean 1?
Or 1. Like, the best parts of Thor movie weren't even with Thor because he was just on Earth with Jane and everybody. Tell me I'm wrong. The best parts of the movie were on Asgard where Thor was not.
But the character development.
Oh
though.
my god.
You
Anyways.
with Natalie Portman. You can't have a bad time with that setup.
Stupid. But like in Thor 2, because we see like Loki's reaction after the guard tells him that Frigga got killed.
Mm-hmm.
So like seeing him experience
Man.
that again in the show, like I was like, dog, you ain't had to make him watch his mama die.
And him seeing Odin die.
And then him seeing like I love you,
Teaming
my
up with
sons. I was
Loki.
like, dude.
Or Thor, I meant.
Yeah, him, Thor,
And then
Valkyrie.
he saw his own death. And he was like, oh no, somebody got to die for this.
Yeah, no, I thought that was a great scene. Tom Hiddleston, amazing actor.
Another amazing actor is
yeah.
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson, dude, we'll get into that.
He's back. The king, the
Lightning-
return of the king.
Lightning McQueen, baby. But then like the scene after that when he finds Loki in the room or whatever, it was another like funny scene, but it was also like he was like reflecting on like himself. And so he was like, I really can't leave anywhere, can I? He was like, yeah, you're stuck. And he was like, you tried to use the tesseract? He was like, yeah, I tried it a bunch of times. It didn't work. But that, like, those two scenes right there was like, I was like, man, this is like Loki's like reflecting on himself. Like, this is like all I've done, like, leads up to just this.
I was originally, I want Loki to stay dead.
Yeah.
To make his death have some impact, but I also want him to come back and be with Thor.
Yeah.
Oh, cause I like sibling dynamics, and they had just gotten
Do they
together.
just at the end of Ragnarok, bro? Dog. Cause he
sickening.
saw that too.
Yeah.
Him and Thor like being nice with each other, not fighting. I was like, man. I hated that at the end of Thor Ragnarok because in Infinity
sick.
War he died. I was like,
I
bro.
was so sick.
But that was probably the best Thor we've ever seen in Infinity War.
God.
After he lost Loki and Heimdall, bro, his last two like family, I was like, dog. Thor was like, he's like, I ain't got nothing left to lose. I was like, man, that was the best Thor we've ever seen. They should have come that way for Endgame. That's another rant. We won't go into it.
Keep the eye patch.
Eye patch would have been sick.
I don't know why they did that. Yeah, you give them Stormbreaker fine, but keep the eye patch. Anyway, back to the show. That's how impactful this show is. It makes you reminisce on everything.
Dude. I'm telling you, this first, like I said, I was not excited for the show. After this first episode, I'm in it.
This episode was fantastic. The other cast members, Gugu Mbatha-Raw and Wunmi Mosaku, fantastic. Gugu was the judge, and Wunmi was the enforcer
Yeah.
that kept beating everybody. She was out for blood. I was like,
she was
Lord.
like, shoot to kill Loki.
She's another Lovecraft Country alum.
Yeah.
Fantastic, great show. Watch it, Reese. And man, she just wanted blood. I also liked what was it? Was it Clarence? Casey.
You almost knocked over my station. What are you doing?
I'll gut you like a fish, Casey.
What's a fish? So, well, I want to know what I'm being threatened with before I die.
He was freaking hilarious. Um, but I mean, this cast is they're funny. Everybody in this can act,
Yeah.
and they are acting. It's just fantastic. The effects look phenomenal. The mix between like an Office and basically Asgard is gorgeous.
Yeah.
They've really knocked it out of the park with this. I'm excited to see what else they have in store for us. And the last big reveal of this was that the main villain of the series is a variant of Loki.
Yeah. I'm surprised to see, or I'm excited to see where they go with that. Because at the end, he was like, "We need your help finding the guy who's like messing up the timeline." He was like, "Who? It's you." I was like, "Dog." So
And I think we're gonna see a lot of different versions of Loki as they're going through time, and maybe even going through alternate realities. Like I said with the Doctor Strange quote from Infinity War, we don't know yet how they're gonna rationalize: are there alternate realities or not? Is an alternate reality different from an alternate timeline? What's going on? So I don't know if we're gonna get all of those answers, but I do think there's a strong chance that they're going to touch on at least some of it to try to give a deeper understanding. You don't want to get too much though into technicalities because it's all nonsense.
no, yeah, I did like. I thought they were gonna do more of it, of like how Loki was like DB Cooper.
Yeah,
I thought that they were gonna like do more of his shenanigans like through history, maybe like
that's really what I thought the show was going to be. I thought
uh-huh.
Loki was going to be just traveling through time, maybe trying to escape these guys, and then having to help them
Yeah.
like midway through. But
But no, that was funny. He's like, I lost the bet to Thor.
see, and that's why that it was that part that made me say, okay, forget his death. I want him back.
Yeah.
Because it was like, yeah, let's see Thor and Loki again.
Cause like, I mean, you think about like mythology, like Loki is like, that's definitely something that he would have done. like making it like Thor's involved too. Like he lost the bet to Thor. I thought at least this first episode, like when they were looking back, they were gonna have more scenes like that, like Loki doing other stuff throughout history.
And that was really the only thing. Everything else was just footage from the MCU movies.
Uh huh.
I was like,
I was let down by
you
that.
guys could have
like...
filmed something else. But I mean, it makes sense. I mean, they could have even just shot a sequence of him as a kid.
Yeah.
And shown that, but
show the when Thor was like Loki turned himself into a snake and then stabbed. They could have showed that.
They showed that. He knew I love snakes. He said, "Bah."
Bah.
See, you like Ragnarok.
I said it's a good movie. I just, if they were gonna do Ragnarok, they should have gone all the way with it. That's all I'm saying. Anywho.
But no, this show is gonna be fantastic. It has the opportunity to be honestly the best one so far. Cause I mean, and people already have problems with it though. WandaVision was too different from the MCU. Falcon Winter Soldier was too close. And now this one, they're just like, what? They haven't explained everything yet. It's one episode. Shut up.
My only problem with the first few episodes of WandaVision was...
I know, you were bored. Hush.
Well, it was just like I was bored, like in the moment I felt like it wasn't leading anywhere. Like in hindsight, like yeah, they were very important episodes.
You just don't like fun.
Man, shut up.
You shut up. Hold on, I'll fight you. Well, I'm gonna get a Tom and Jerry sound effect and just put it in. Next episode, I'm not doing it this episode. I'm lazy.
I didn't know they were complaining about Falcon and Winter Soldier being too similar to...
Yeah. Because you're not on Twitter. You escaped the hatred. But you should get on Twitter so that me and April can send you stuff.
That's funny. Fans just have so much to complain about, bro. That's like, it's irritating.
And I get it because we're a very fickle audience. And since comics are so vast, they've been going for almost 100 years at this point. I get it, I understand, but at the same time, it's come on, just at some point we've got to just accept what we've getting, just accept these versions. I mean, not accept, but like if something's not good, it's not good. But if it's just something that you don't like, be upfront about it too. Don't try to make it like everybody's wrong for liking it. I'm guilty of it too. I'm not gonna act like I'm better than nobody else. I'll be complaining about dumb stuff. What's something I complain about? I hate Iron Man 3. Everybody else loves it. It's probably dumb stuff I don't like.
It's not great.
It's not a good movie. Fantastic Four was better.
It's funny, and it has some cool scenes, but for the most part, it's just another movie. And what makes it terrible, the freaking Mandarin.
We're not gonna talk about it.
Ben Kingsley, bro. They wasted Ben Kingsley.
Greatest actors.
Dude, like he could have blown the movie out of the water.
But we're getting Mandarin now in Shang-Chi, so
it's not the same. I'm just so mad that they cast Ben Kingsley.
And now people can. Well, never mind. I ain't gonna say that.
What was you about to say?
I'll tell you off camera.
We're gonna forget to record,
for the public.
release the episode. I apologize for the things that I said.
The things that I said were not meant to. But no, this Loki is fantastic. I'm very excited for the next episode to drop. Mm-hmm. I think we're getting 6 episodes for this season. Black Widow's gonna be dropping during like episode 5 of this.
Okay.
So there'll be some overlap there, and What If will be the next series, I believe. Loki, Hawkeye.
I forgot about that. The most important character. I can't believe I forgot.
So Hawkeye might be next, and then What If, or maybe reversed. I don't know. Then She-Hulk, then Moon Knight. Maybe Miss Marvel will be before She-Hulk. I don't know if they have them in the right order. I forgot they're doing Armor Wars.
I still remember that one post where they were like, all I'm saying is, the first 2 Avengers movies, Hawkeye fought with him, and they won. He wasn't there in Infinity War, and they lost. They won in Endgame, so...
Hawkeye is the missing link. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Overall, we're liking Loki. I think it's going to be pretty good.
Yes, sir. Check
us out on the socials. Our private socials can be accessed if you go to any of the other stuff. Just go to who we're following. Our names will pop up. But the links to the shows, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, they're all in there. Thank you for listening as always. We appreciate all the support. We love y'all. Be safe. Go watch some cartoons. Treat cartoons with respect. Cartoons are better than live action. And that's a message from God, really. If you think about it. Stupid. I'm just the prophet delivering the... Ow! I cut myself.
See, that's what you get.
Okay. We'll see y'all, or we won't see you guys. You guys don't even see us. We're working on getting a camera to do a video version of the podcast. But, time is filled with swift transition, etc. Love y'all. Be safe. Peace.
Peace.